Hey guys, Dave here with another quick model making tip from Thunder Mesa Studio. Regular viewers of this channel will know that I'm a big proponent of using structure mock-ups to test out scenes and to hold a spot until fully realized structures can be built. I use mock-ups all over the layout, and since we get regular visitors, some tend to be a little more colorful and elaborate than is strictly necessary. Still, like these, they all get replaced eventually. So I try to keep the construction quick and dirty. And lots of folks have asked me how they're made. So in this video, I'll take you step by step through my process for building these mock-ups, so you might be able to give it a try yourself. Now over here on the workbench, I've got just about everything I think I'll need to create one of these mock-ups. In this particular case, I'll be making a mock-up for this little cafe to sit in the town of Calico. I've already built one, but I'm going to build another one to show you how I do it. This is a plan that I created. This is some artwork that I made. You can download similar artwork off of my website, thundermesa.studio. Just head on over there, or you can use plans from magazines or wherever you, or old books or things like that. Just make sure that they are scaled correctly for the scale you're building in when you print them out. That's the most important thing. This was printed out on my home inkjet printer, or you could put them on a thumb drive and take them over to your local Kinko's or a copy center or whatever and have them do some laser copies for you. It works just as well. So I've got that. Then I've got some chipboard here. This is a very inexpensive, cheap cardboard. This stuff is about 1/32 of an inch thick. I've got a straight edge and a hobby knife with a brand new sharp number 11 blade in it. Got some scrap wood in case I need to do some bracing. This is an important component right here. This is some 3M Super 77 multi-purpose adhesive, and you'll see what I use that for in a minute. Then I've got some PVA glue. In this case, it's some wood glue. You could use Elmer's glue too. And then I've got this is what's known as a brayer, and this will come in handy when we laminate our plan or our graphics to the cardboard, which is the first thing we're going to do. I'm taking the graphic and cutting off most of the extra paper because we don't need to waste glue on that. Just the stuff we need here. Then I'm going to take and I'm going to use a couple of pieces of painter's tape and put it upside down on a piece of corrugated cardboard. Just a piece here and a piece over here. You just want to make sure it doesn't overlap where the graphics are. So you want to leave a little bit of paper around the outside there to tape that down. Now we take our Super 77 spray adhesive and I'm going to shake that up for about 2 minutes. Now I'm over in a well-ventilated area by the studio windows. I can get some glue on this. And you want a nice even coverage. I just want to pick this up by the tape if I can. There we go. Try not to get the glue on my fingers or anywhere else I don't want it. And we just put it down on the chipboard. And at this point, you don't have to worry if it's perfectly straight or not, because you'll see in a minute why I do it this way. And we use our brayer. You could use a round bottle or a jar or a rolling pin, just to make sure it's nice and flat on there and well adhered and there's no air bubbles or anything. Now we use the graphic itself to create the straight lines. Rather than trying to marry up this graphic or this plan with pieces that are already cut, it is much easier, I have found, to glue it on a big piece and then cut the pieces out. So start here along this long straight bottom edge. It's always a good idea when you're cutting stuff like this to have the straight edge over the work. that you want to use and have the waste over on this side. So if you mess up with the blade, you're messing up into the waste and not into your work. And always when you're cutting with a hobby knife through any kind of material like this, you want to make multiple light cuts, then try and go all the way through in the first pass. You get a much better result this way. Okay. Same thing this way on these sidewalls. Nice thing about this Super 77, or any kind of spray adhesive like this for that matter, is that you really don't have to wait around for the glue to dry before you start building. Notice I just jumped right in. You could use rubber cement too, but you're not going to get as clean of a job. There's the other wall. Now we just need to cut out this front. Now the trickiest part of this is this rounded ellipse on the false front here. And I'm going to freehand that. I don't have a compass that I can use. Well, I do, but I'm not going to use it because I've done a lot of these. I'm going to freehand it. And I'll show you how I do it. This is one of those cases where you do actually want to press hard. And sometimes you're going to break a blade. But you want to go through as much of this material as possible and try to do this in one pass. And it's easier to get the knife down in there and then move the work around, kind of rotate it around. If you're cutting an ellipse like this, you'll get a better cut. You get it started, and you see how I'm just kind of moving it around the blade. Just like that. You probably notice that there's not a back wall included with this plan, so I'm just going to go ahead and lay one out here to match the front. That's 2 3/4 inches. And the height of the side walls, 2 1/4. Now there is the line where it's going to meet the side walls there like that. But I want to create a peak on this roof. And you could use all kinds of different mathematical formulas, or you could do what I do. Just take a look at it. And the center's right about there. You want to go up about another 8 feet above that line, and that's going to create the pitch for your roof. And we've got our back wall. Now if you want your mock-up to precisely fit in the footprint of your future structure, you're going to want to make some adjustments to the length of the sidewalls here, because this is created flat, but when you make it in 3 dimensions, you've added the thickness of the front and rear walls, and that's another 1/16 of an inch, which can add up in the smaller scales. So we want to remove that much material from each side of these sidewalls so that it'll fit precisely in the footprint we want it to fit in. Now with a mock-up, you're going to be moving it around a lot, so you're going to want a little extra strength and durability, particularly at these corners. So I'm going to frame the inside of these walls with some, this is some O-scale 6x6. You can use whatever kind of scrap lumber you've got lying around. You could use cardboard, whatever you've got handy. But I'm gonna frame the inside of these walls like this, so there'll be a larger glue surface when these are put together. This is yet another reason why I always save everything. I save all the cut-offs from old kits. I save, all the all the old pieces of wood that don't get used in the kit, because I'll end up using them for something like this later on. And this is dead simple model building. If you're new to any kind of model building and aren't used to the tools and materials, I can't think of a better way to start than on something like this. I mean, it doesn't get any easier. To learn how to glue things and cut things straight, and that's all it is, really, you know. Gluing and cutting things as straight as you can, and making big things into smaller things. I find it's always better to cut pieces a little proud. That means a little bit, you know, wider than they need to be. Just slightly, you know, just to the, you know, you put the kerf on one side of the pencil line instead of the other. And then you can always use your sanding block like this to get a really nice, precise, tight fit. And I'm going to use this magnetic gluing jig to put this whole thing together to make sure it's good and square. You don't have to use something like this. This is why I didn't include it in the materials and tools. You could use 1, 2, 3 blocks. You could use just a machinist square. You could line it up as best you could with a cutting mat like this, which I do quite often. But you know, this is a handy tool to have if you do a lot of miniature architectural modeling like I do. It just consists of a metal box with square edges and these little magnetic plates move in here, and that just can clamp that in place just like that. And then I can make sure I put this together nice and square. An important note I should mention on structures like this that have a peaked roof: you always glue the peaked roof ends, the gable ends, onto the sides. You don't put the sides on the outside of the gable ends, and that way when you put the roof on, it'll fit down over the side walls like that, you see. If you had those on the outside, they'd be sticking out and it wouldn't work. I just want to add some lateral bracing, just like that, just to add a little bit more strength, only along the bottom of the wall. Well, now I need a matching roof gable for this side, for the roof to sit on. And I found the easiest way to do that is to use this one as a template. Just going to drop it onto a scrap of chipboard. Mark the angle. Now it should match this piece there. There we go. Now I just need to connect the front and rear gables with a ridge pole. And I cut one of those out of some 6x6 too. And now I can take some measurements for the roof panels right off of the model here. We want the roof to overhang about 1 foot there, so it looks like 2.5 inches, 10 feet, by about 3 1/4. Now, since this is a mock-up, you know, these pieces don't have to fit perfectly, but one thing that I have found is that the better the mock-up, the better the final structure will be that you build from it. Well, I'd say that's just about done, but I'm going to add one more thing because, well, I designed it and I printed it out, so I might as well use it. And that's a cloth awning. This would be a canvas awning off the front of the building like that, and I've kind of designed it as a paper model here. Might actually use this exact same pattern on the finished model, so I want to see if it works and looks right. Just need to cut this out. I've left a little extra white paper on the edges here, so when I fold it up, I'll have a gluing surface to stick it to the building. I just need to lightly score this so I can bend it, fold it into shape. And there is our completed mock-up, ready to hold the spot on the layout until a fully realized structure can take its place. And there we go. Hey, thanks for watching that model making quick tip. I hope you got something good out of it. If you enjoy seeing this kind of content, don't forget to subscribe. And you can also help get Thunder Mesa Studios videos on the air by becoming a member of this channel right here on YouTube, or head on over to patreon.com/thundermesa like these folks did and show your support there. Until next time, keep moving forward everybody, and adios for now.